Sometimes the truth has to have the right timing in order to be effective. All right?
This is what my God has in store for me. I don't know the whole plan, and He don't give me no script and send it to me early in the morning. I just got to go about this process on faith. Now, let me ask the question. How do you know you're walking in your purpose? What is the telltale signs for you? Welcome to Mended Men's Conversation, Life Lessons of Legacy, where real men have real conversation. I'm Anthony Washington.
And I'm Titus Garnett, and we're here to dive deep into the struggles, victories, and lessons that shape us as men. From mental health and fatherhood to faith, identity, and purpose. Breaking the silence and starting the conversations that matter.
We have over 12 years of professional experience and over 140 years of combined life experience as fathers, sons, brothers, husbands, friends, educators. We are you. We know that healing starts with honest dialogue. So let's get real. Let's get ready. Let's grow together. This is Mended Men's Conversation. Let's dive in.
Welcome. My name is Titus Garnett.
Yes, sir.
And this is
Anthony Washington.
And welcome to Mended Men. Well, men who have conversations just about anything. I mean, right now we are utilizing subject matter until we get a little more deeper into our podcast, and the subject matter will probably adjust to according to whatever the conversation need is at that time. Today we're going to be talking about faith and purpose, living a God-led life. Many men feel lost, searching for meaning in careers, success, and relationships. But true purpose is only found in God. Let's talk about finding and walking in that purpose. Wow, Anthony, I'm gonna throw that ball out in your court right now, and I'm gonna sit back and let you talk the whole hour. Because I don't want to be struck by lightning with some of the things I might say. All right, you got it, my brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, what's my purpose? That's a good question. Very good question. Because we got to have a purpose.
You know what? Let me cut you off.
While we doing?
Let me cut you off there. Let me cut you off there.
Go right ahead.
And go back one. And first, I think we should answer the question, do we have a God-led purpose? And if we do, what is our God-led purpose rather than our general purpose? Do you feel where I'm coming from?
Yes, I'm going to say we do have a God-led purpose. We have a choice to have a God-led purpose, and it's an individual thing, because everybody have to make up their own mind if they choose to live like that or not. That's my opinion on that one right there. Short and sweet.
See, you got plenty of time.
Now, do me a favor. Before you say anything, I want you to slide a little bit to the left. There you go. Now, when that lightning come down, it's gonna hit on the right side.
Man, how you treat me so bad, my brother, on air? See how you do me? Okay, I can do. I can do. We could just one subject matter. We can talk about this for a while. And I don't know if we're gonna get through the whole curriculum today, but a God-led purpose. There are people who say, well, God's got a purpose for you. But at times I look at it as you have choice to accept or not accept whatever comes your way. Now, what is your God-led purpose? Okay, what is the purpose of God? As man and being spiritual beings, all right, one of our purposes is love. And I'm not talking sexuality right there. I'm talking love is the purpose of caring and understanding for humanity around you. And within that is honor. And you hear very little about honor nowadays. People being honorable, all right?
True.
Trust, caring, and also be able for truth. And truth has a double-edged sword. It can cut both ways. And at times it can cut others even though you telling them the truth. And they may not like it, but you also be truthful to thyself, and so you cut yourself. So my thing about a God-led purpose is to be true to what God wants us to be as individuals, as spiritual offsets of Him. Okay. Now people say, well, I was born to be a preacher. I was born to be a mathematician. I was born to work in the plant. You were born to give the best you can under the guidance of God to yourself and to others. I took being a father very purposely. All right. But I made mistakes being a husband. I've made mistakes being a man, okay? But the thing of it is, I understand my mistakes and I had to be truthful to myself about them, all right? So when I go to someone else and express a God led purpose, I'm going to lead it in a way of being who you were meant to be, honorable, truthful, at times direct, and led by God to be a better human being through the spirit that is within you, rather than,
Well,
go ahead.
that kind of, when you say that, that kind of leads us to what is the purpose? Separating personal ambition from God's calling. You know,
But remember, personal ambition also is a choice. You may want to say, like, it's like a guy who's a pimp in the street or a drug dealer in the street. He says, I was meant to be a drug dealer because I can make more money. But is that led by God? Do you know what I mean? Is that led?
that's that personal ambition.
That's personal ambition. All right.
Yeah, it's not godly. Do you? I would say this much: a God-led life is, or God's purpose, calling. You want to put it like that? Is one of the words you just said earlier. Love. Yeah, love. Am I going? I got much as I love how I love me. It's the same way I need to show you. Love. What I want for me is I want for you. You know, and in my opinion, when I think of God, I think that's what he has in store for me. It's not about, like you said, the drug dealer. I can make money. I sell these drugs. I'm good at it. It's not about, for me. It's not about making money. It's about who I can help. What can I do to make this thing called life a little better for me or somebody else. Give something back. That's my interpretation of God's calling for me.
Yeah, but it's your purpose, it's your choice, your personal ambition. Is it causing the destruction of someone else? Now, that's not God's calling for you or plan
No,
for you.
no, 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 no.
You
I agree
know,
with you. No, no, that's still my. That's not God's calling. That's my calling.
that's your personal
Right,
ambition.
right.
Okay.
God's calling is not to hurt another human being, but in the process, some people's feelings will get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But as you mentioned before, am I being truthful, honest about what I'm saying? My intentions is not to hurt, but to be honest with it. And sometimes the truth doesn't always feel good, you know.
That's true.
But
A truth
but
is
if it's the truth, it's the truth,
that double-edged sword, man.
right?
You
So
know.
I want to be mindful of how I present the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You get me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you. I
Because
hear
I
you.
can say that I can tell you the truth, but it doesn't. You might not hear what I really have to say if
Mm-hmm.
I'm not being mindful of how I want to present this to you.
Yeah.
Because my objective is I want you to be able to. I want to be able to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
I always say, I talk, you listen, you talk, I listen.
Mm-hmm.
So we sharing some information, we getting some information, make us a better human being.
Yeah.
So I want to be mindful to make sure that, if I'm going to tell the truth, that, I come off in a way where you can hear what I'm saying, and I'm not turning you off. Sometimes it all depends on who you telling the truth to.
Also, let me jump right into the next one because it's adding to what you're saying right now. The next one is the season of purpose, learning to trust God's timing. Now, that goes back to what you're saying about the truth. Sometimes the truth has to have the right timing in order to be effective. All right. And if you trust in God, the truth will, the timing for it to come out, all right, which you may say it to the person at the right time, which is not in anger, which is the cause is at that time to say it. Because you can
Now, you
have
know,
anger and you can just say any old thing, even though it's the truth, but it's blunted and it has no effectiveness.
right. That's what I was saying. I want to make sure we can have a conversation. That's my mind frame is that I want to make sure we have a conversation because if we have a conversation, we're willing to listen to each other. But I ask you, and then I'm answering myself, is that how do I know if this is, how do I know is if this is the right time? Is this God's timing or my timing?
Patience, patience,
Okay.
patience is one of the things you may, okay, a revelation may come to you. And I'm not talking about a spiritual revelation. I'm talking about maybe just informational or knowledgeable revelation maybe come to you and you it hits you and you go, wow, I just need to tell the whole world. I need to tell this person about it, but it may not be the right time to tell them. Patience on your
It can
part,
be spiritual.
it can be, yeah, I know. It can be. But any revelation, when is the time to reveal to someone else? Because maybe you need to absorb it and understand it a little bit better before you let it out. You may have an answer. It's like a math, and I've had this test when I was going for steam engineer, level 4 steam engineer, and they had a math test on there, algebra test on there. And when you took the test and you had to come up with the answer, and they gave you whatever the answer is. Now, they looked at that answer and you came up with it, but if you didn't come up with it, they looked at how you solved the problem. So you wrote down how you solved the problem so they could look and see that you was on the right road, okay, but you just missed something a little bit off. Okay, that's why the answer wasn't just right, but you was on the right road. Something being revealed
Right.
to you when you pass that on, you want to make sure you cover that whole road before you just throw out an answer because that person may not understand it and you may need to explain it or break it down better.
Yeah. And I'm listening to what you're saying and I'm thinking about the question. For me, how do I know if this is God's timing for me to do say what I gotta say or do what I gotta do? Sometimes I just need to meditate on that. Pray. Because somebody told me a long time ago, when I pray, I'm having a conversation with my God. When I meditate, I'm listening to my God. I'm shutting all the outside noise off and I'm just listening. And I'm allowing these thoughts to come to my head. I'm not dwelling in on them, but I'm just allowing it to come, allowing myself to be at peace. And that's one way I can be sure that this is the right time, because I just need the time to really kind of like take it in myself and just marinate on that thought.
But see, that's where
Think about
patience
it.
come in. That's where patience
Right,
come in. And when you're meditating, you said that you're listening. In other words, you're not speaking. And while
right.
you're listening,
Already, when I pray, that's when I'm talking.
right, when you're listening, you're gaining greater understanding as to what. But one thing that you also have to trust, have you ever you had that internal feeling, that spiritual feeling that when something came the same way it came to you, you felt, wow, I got that. It's the same way when you send it to somebody else. Wow, the timing hit just right to state it. In other words, you're feeling. You can't just get emotional. God's timing will let you know when to let it go. All right. And
Yeah,
patience to hold on. Sometimes
yeah, patient.
I was telling somebody there was just anger. And I said, why don't you just stop, relax, and be quiet? Just be quiet and understand and listening. Get the anger out of your head because the anger is not timing. It's just release.
It's blocking.
It's blocking and it's a release of an unnecessary emotion where the timing could be way off base and off course. So if you tell it to them later, you say it on the anger the first time, and you may tell it to them later calmly, it may be too late because they already got that emotion in their head. So
Yeah,
they'll hear and feel the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Timing, patience. God's timing is patience.
And you know what I was going to say with all of that? You just said faith.
Yeah,
Walk out there off
yeah,
faith because, you're really not in control of anything because I'm being led by my God to deliver this or to do this.
mm-hmm,
So I got to I'm just going to step out there on a lot of faith
mm-hmm,
that this is the right thing to do. And, my experience that, how do how do I want somebody to present this to me? I want to I want to throw the word faith in there also.
yeah,
Because do believe you have to walk, you're going to be walking on a lot of faith,
mm,
trusting that, you're doing the right thing. And, and you're not up in here thinking about, oh man, I wonder if you're going to take it. I know if I deliver it right, it's not my responsibility to get it. It's my responsibility just to deliver it. And when
true.
you will receive it, when you're ready.
When you deliver that and the timing is right and it's God's timing, the way you will deliver it depends the person how they receive it is their responsibility. But the way
Right.
you deliver it, it'll either sounds like it's coming from your head or it's coming from your heart.
Yep.
And when you deliver it from your heart, it comes a whole new different way. I was in a situation not too long ago where I had to tell somebody something that they didn't like. And they were getting louder and yelling. And I said, you know what? Talked calmly, relaxed, and I said, now you can yell and scream all you want, but you know what I'm telling you, I'm not doing it to make you mad or upset. You're doing that on your own. I'm telling you because I care and because you need to hear this and understand it. It's coming from love. It ain't coming from hate or anger. Because of the many
No.
things you've done, I could deliver a lot of hate and anger from what your reactions in the past and and even in the present. But this is what you need to hear, and you don't need to hear it from me trying to out yell you or out loud you or to try to hurt you. I'm trying to tell you from the heart, you need to hear this, okay?
Right.
And how you receive it and what you do with it or ignore it, that's up to you. But it will come back to you again. It will. And maybe from a different person, but God will bring it back to you again.
The same message.
Same message.
Same message.
Same message. As long as it's from the heart. It's not from the head. It's not from anger. It's not from your result. It's for you. It's a message for you. Let me move on to the next one. You got something else? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, 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 because you're all up in my head and shit, because
Well,
that's where I was going. I was going to the
well,
next one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Overcoming fear of failure, breaking free from self-doubt and perfectionism. Yes, 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 the old perfectionism. A lot of times people say I'm a perfectionist, but maybe you just plain stubborn and you don't want to hear anything else.
You said something earlier, and I just believe wholeheartedly that in this process that we call life, that I call life, I cannot do this without failure.
Of course.
Because how do I learn? Now I do learn from my successes, but I also learn from my failures.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking at failure from a negative point of view. I'm looking at it from a positive thing because that's all part of life. Right and wrong is is life together. I can't have right all the time. This thing I call life, I gotta have the good with the bad,
Mm-hmm.
and I gotta learn to balance it. You know, and even though I don't like the bad, I know that that's all part of this process, and it's not about me liking it, but it's about me accepting the fact that this is not gonna work for me.
Mm-hmm.
I made a mistake, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and from that mistake, I learned to do this same thing better. So that's all part of it, I think of it like that, I gotta have that balance. Sometimes I use these phrases just to help me guide. It's like truth, justice, righteousness, brain just froze. Reciprocity, harmony, order, and balance. What I need, what I like to do is always try to incorporate those words in my life and in my actions. In my life, and I like to be able to demonstrate them through my actions. That helps me stay in line. And even though I demonstrate, I'm not going to say I don't make a lot of failures or go to the right. I'm willing to take that, as we talked earlier about it, have that faith and trust in this is what my God has in store for me. I don't know the whole plan, and he don't give me no script and send it to me early in the morning. I just gotta go about this process on faith. That this is gonna happen, and it also has to. I get a feeling from it too. I know for a fact that I enjoy helping people, giving back. I put it like that. Because when I do that, that's when I get my rewards. And I'm not talking about finances. It just makes me feel that I'm doing the right thing, and I can continue to explore this journey that I'm on. Put it like that.
I've listened to a lot of people talk about things that they're doing in life. It could be business related, it could be social related, whatever. And they say failure is not an option. No, failure is not an option because failure is a happening. It will happen.
You can't avoid it.
Okay? You can't avoid it. It's a happening. Okay? And you got to be able to deal with it. Okay? In other words, like you were saying, you stand up, the faith within yourself, the faith within your God, and you just move on. You just keep moving on. Sometimes failure is when you're going down the road and you hit this brick wall. I always say, well, slide to the right, slide to the left till you get to that next opening. Then you start out, you keep going. Don't fall down and say, I got to climb this wall. No, because a lot of times you built that wall. So you don't know how high it's going to go. But
true.
The thing about self-doubt creates a fear of success. Your self-doubt says, I'm afraid to be successful. I'm afraid to be that guy who can turn into, or that woman who can turn into that millionaire, billionaire, have a business, this or that. And that self-doubt, if you step back and take a look at that wall, that's what that wall is built from. Self-doubt. All right. A fear of success. So you just keep moving on, and it's tough.
Moving forward, it's like I think about doing things. Wait a minute, that perfectionist, and I'm not trying to be perfectionist. I be a perfectionist. I just want to do my best.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when I think of trying to be perfection, I can't even get the word out, but you know what I mean.
Perfectionist. Yeah.
It's like I'm given doubt that I don't want to fail. But the fact, as you said before, the fact of it is, I can't grow not unless I have a little failures.
It's gonna hit.
Yeah,
It's
I
happening.
can't avoid that.
No, you're not gonna avoid failures. And failures does not mean a complete stoppage. It could mean you have to take a step back, slide to the side, and start going back forward again.
Re-examine what you're doing.
That's right. And re-examination helps keep the failure rates down. But stuff like that will happen. You're not going to come up with an idea on Monday and by Friday you're a complete failure or you're a multimillionaire. It don't work like that. All right? You just and have faith and trust in what you do and have patience. All right, and believe, and it will go forward. Perfectionism, I always say, now this is for me. I say perfectionism is a journey. It's not an end result because you improve as you go. Improve. The person says, I'm a perfectionist. Every I dotted, every T crossed, everything has to be just right. No, because sometimes that's fear of making a mistake. Everything is never going to be just right.
No.
All right. But you're trying to hide it under an emotional anger or emotional, I don't want nothing to fail. I can't have any mistakes. I can't. That's life. Life is about mistakes and it will come. So when it does happen, you don't nut up. You either prepare for it or you make an adjustment to it. And that's even in your relationships, you
Yeah,
know?
when you put it like that, one of the things I learned is that, I'm just talking about learned in a relationship that, nobody can make you feel a certain way. I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
I allow somebody to make me feel less than, I can't get mad at them.
Mm-hmm.
That finger points back at me. See, because then that's where I have to really understand and know myself. Not perfect. I am human and I do make mistakes. And
Mm-hmm.
I have to learn to forgive myself when I do that, and not beat myself up because I know that was a process of learning just how not to beat myself up, you know. But one of the things I learned, to make a long story short, is that, um, I can carry in I can carry that anger. And like in a relationship, I can carry that anger and stunt my growth. That's one of the things I learned is that, I could be mad at, my partner for something that happened, something she says, whatever. But, I've gotten to the point where I learned that, I'm going to tell you how I feel, what I think, and then once we had that conversation, I got to let it go.
Yeah,
Got to
yeah.
let it
And
go.
don't bring it back. Right,
And sometimes I've realized that, some people don't know how to let things go. They hold on to
right,
things. And
right.
I'm saying this because I can see I see myself doing that before, holding on because
Mm-hmm.
I want to stay angry.
Right.
And it didn't solve the problem, didn't
Mm-hmm.
feel better,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't grow any. But when I
No.
learned to let it go, and forgive myself and move forward, not even learn not to hold that person, be angry at that person, because
Well, yeah,
that stunts my growth. I put it like that.
you
And
hold on to it. You feel that you may need it later.
yeah, yeah, get back.
Yeah, right, right. Doesn't make any sense because
No, don't.
you don't want anybody to have one up on you. So you got to have something just in case that joker in the deck, just in case you need to play that joker card. All right.
Hmm.
So yeah, and that's tough to get rid of, and that shows a lack in faith in God's purpose for you.
I learned that insanity has no bounds.
But it has plenty of company.
Every day.
Sanity is never alone. Let's move on to the next subject matter. Okay, the next subject matter is aligning faith with daily life, making faith the foundation of your decision. Wow, I look in terms of making faith the foundation of your decision is you're going to believe in that decision that you do. You're going to have faith in that decision. In other words, that decision just didn't come lightly. You put a lot of, like you had mentioned before, meditation, conversations with God, conversations with yourself, understanding, putting in the belief in that decision means you're going to strengthen that belief with the faith and let it be and let it travel its own path. Go ahead.
That's a good one. Aligning faith with my daily life. Practice for me is like aligning my faith with my daily life is like getting up in the morning, first thing in the morning, just being grateful, thankful that I got the opportunity to see the day. Get up to implementing some of not some of us, implementing those words that I was talking to you about: truth, justice, balance, order, reciprocity in my life. On a daily basis. I ain't gonna say I do them. I'm perfectionist at it, but I do my best to apply those to my actions on a daily basis. And it starts to become habit for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I will. I'd be telling a lie if I didn't say I strayed. Because I'm a human being. And I got needs and wants, and sometimes I think I know it all. It don't always work
Mm-hmm.
out for me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
True.
that's the thing that we call life. That is a learning process.
Yeah.
Am I willing to
Yeah.
hit some rocky spots? So I know that this is not the direction I need to be going in. Sometimes I know it before I get there, but it happens. Like I said, I'm learning to forgive myself when I go that way and get back on track. But aligning that as my life is a task. And I'm not saying a negative thing, it's a good thing because I feel good, I feel comfortable about doing that.
You just made a good point there when you said task. And the word task itself may bring out negative connotations because it says that takes work. But if you're on a plan or a step forward, a task does not have to mean it's a burden.
No,
It means, okay, this is a positive next step to the results I'm trying to achieve. When you get up in the morning, you say, okay, I got to do my little routine to start my day. Those tasks leads to a better day, not a bad day. So that word task, yeah, you take it in the right way. That's a nice thing.
something that you want to do on a consistent basis. Something I like to do on
Mm-hmm.
a consistent basis. And in order to get better, I need to put some work into this process. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's the only way I'm gonna experience some change, by putting
Mm-hmm.
some work in it, being consistent. And sometimes it's hard,
Yeah.
but it's worth it.
It can be hard because at times anything you do, a bit of self-doubt may come
Hmm.
in. Plus, also there's this word called
Oh,
change,
yes.
and something can interfere and interrupt that task, and you've got to be able to make adjustments to it. You just can't sit back and say, no, 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 I'm gonna continue in my steps toward it. Maybe not. Maybe you could just push it back a little bit, relax. Don't get all nutted up about it, and just continue on with that goal. Now, let's throw in there the next one, walking in purpose daily. Practical steps to staying committed to God's plan. Now, understand something here, the way I look at it. At that point, God's plan is your plan. Your plan is God's plan. Because everything we talked about before, when we were talking about your purpose, your seasons for purpose, learning to trust in God, overcoming fear of failure, aligning faith in your daily life. Now you at this final step of implementing that plan, your faith, your trust, it's in the plan because your faith and trust is in God. So you're not walking alone in this plan.
Now, you got company.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not just God's plan, it's your plan. Your plan is God's plan. It's like your spirit. God's spirit is in you. Your spirit is God's spirit. That's why it's easier to trust in God because you are a piece of God. He is within you whole.
So
All
true.
right. So walking in the purpose daily can become habitual. And that's not a bad thing because you'll do it without having to be forced. You know, when you're learning something, they say that statistically, if you're learning to diet or anything you're trying to implement, a change, it usually takes 30 days before your body get used to it and you could be more committed or systematic to it. God's plan is no different.
That's true.
Once you do it and you continue to do it with faith and it's not an effort to you, it becomes habitual, a good habitual to where you can do it without thinking. So when change comes, you can relax, say, okay, God's plan is still going to work. You make your adjustments, then you get back on the plan. You get back on the road and you continue on where you left off at.
Because you're always making some adjustments to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say that, it brings to mind adaptability, learning
Yeah.
to adapt to my situation. Because you remember that old saying is that I can't. It starts with like I can't make the world go around adapt to me. I have to learn to adapt to the world. I'm not saying that, but you know where I'm going with it, right?
I know what you're
Yeah,
saying. All right.
I
Yeah. The world is gonna turn no matter if you standing still. It's still turning.
right.
All right. Life goes on. No matter if things change in you. The things that will always be constant, There will always be
It's
constant.
change.
It's time and change.
Yep.
That's a constant. It will happen no matter. And we don't use time. We don't control time. My mistake. We don't control time. We flow with time.
Rhythm. I want to get in the rhythm,
Yeah.
flow of it, the
Mm-hmm.
vibrations.
We flow with it.
Yep.
Right. We don't control it. We can't stop it. All right. And it won't stop itself.
No,
All right.
not for us.
But we just flow with it. Right. So it's a lot to chew when you get into it. When we first looked at this, it looks like I don't know, faith in God-led life and this and that. What is a God-led life? What is God? What is his purpose for you? Who are we spiritually in this thing? Can we take our physical and have it adapt to the spiritual us?
Yes, we can.
We have to look at ourselves and say, who am I? And every now and then we got to check ourselves. In order to check that plan, first we check ourselves and say, who am I? Am I am what I am? People say, man, why do you do that? That's crazy. To no, this is who I am because this is who I choose to be. And if it's God-led, fine. I had a person tell me one time, and I may have mentioned it before, yeah, I know this is just who I am. I said, no, this is who you choose to be. This anger, this meanness, this attitude I gotta be on top. I'm the best. You're nothing. This and that. No, I'm not saying you're not good and great and this and that. It's just the idea that I'm not lesser. So I'm not gonna accept being lesser to you.
That's the lie that we tell ourselves when we choose not to allow God in our life to guide us.
Right.
Um,
Right.
I will use that as an excuse in order to feel like I'm running something or I'm in control.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is, I'm not really controlling anything. I'm not running anything.
Yeah, you ain't controlling that. You ain't running nothing. You're either accepting it or rejecting it. And if it's good for you, you hopefully that you'll accept it. If it's not good for you, you hopefully that you got the strength of who you are, what leads you to reject it.
Let me ask the question. How do you know you're walking in your purpose? What is the telltale signs for you?
What is your purpose? And who are you designing your purpose off of? Are you looking at what? My first thing is this. What is God's purpose? What is God's purpose spiritually for me? And his purpose spiritual for me cannot be negative. It cannot be bad. All right. He wants the best for me. He wants truth, honor, love, respect. He wants all that for me spiritually. Then I adapt my physical, my mental to my spiritual. And that leads me to wherever my walk is in. It's in that purpose of God. I don't care if it's just I'm working as a garbage truck driver. All right. I'm doing it honorably. I'm doing it with faith. I'm doing it with the purpose physically to support myself and or my family. I'm doing a job to help keep the neighborhood clean. I'm doing my job to help keep people health and safety. When I worked in a plant as a maintenance guy, and they used to call me, I was on call 24/7. When they called me, I don't care what time it was, I got there. And when I got there to work, they said, oh man, you gotta just, everything, we ain't gonna take no time off from work. And I said, I don't want you to take time off from work. I want to repair what's necessary as fast as I can so you can go back to work. So when the pay period comes around, you're not short 6 hours. You're not short 8 hours. Because you don't think about that, but when your check is short $10, you want to have a fit. If your check is short $80, that's 8 hours. If you're making $10 an hour, man, are you going to be able to pay your bills? Because you live in paycheck to paycheck. So God, I'm looking at that as God for me to be as honorable as I can to do the job for you, rather than just to come in and sit on my butt for 6 hours just to get money and then take another 15 minutes to repair the problem. That's not God-led. That's not
Self-led.
honorable. That's not helping men. Yeah, that's self-led right there. And I know people who did stuff like that, but that's not me.
Well, I raised my hand because that was me at one time. Selfish.
Mm-hmm.
It was just about what I can get. It was just all about how I felt, and what I believed. It was right for me. Nobody else had it, a purpose in life but me. But that's what I thought,
Yeah.
and I learned that didn't serve me well. Didn't serve me well at all.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that question, and I think about what's my purpose in life, and as I said earlier, I feel like my purpose in life is what can I give back, and I'm always want to look at it from that point of view, because when I do look at it from that point of view, it helps me stay focused and stay out of self.
Yeah, yeah. Anthony, everything has repercussions to it.
True that.
If I'm just going to take the example I just
Hmm.
gave. I come in, I repair it in 15 minutes. They got to go back to work. They're a little disappointed because they can't go home early. Say it took me 6 hours to repair it and they go home early. 2 weeks later, they get that check and they're short 100, $150. Then they come to work mad. They come to work angry. And then they gonna want to cuss out the supervisor. Then they mad at the boss. And then they short, the old lady short money for the bills. Or they short money to get gas. They come there angry. Then they want to tear up a machine. But the worst thing can happen is because they're angry, they're not paying attention. That machine cuts off a finger, cuts off a
All hell
hand,
breaks loose then.
breaks an arm. All hell break loose. Or on the opposite end, you go there and you don't work. You don't give your all in all. And then you don't meet your specifications, your quota. Your whole shift don't meet their quota. Your supervisor doesn't meet his quota. He jumps down your throat. He pushes everybody around. Everybody's pissed off again just because I felt like I'm gonna take my time repairing it, and you see the repercussions, that domino effect, how things can build up.
Yep.
But you don't think about that. Everything has repercussions. Now, if you lead it right with God in your heart, you go there, you do your job, you get the job done. They be mad at you, but now they ain't mad at nobody else but me. Okay, and then but they can't get back at
No.
me. All right. So now the pay period ends. They got that extra $150, $160. They can buy that extra thing that they're looking for. They meet their quotas. Everybody gets a little bit of bonus on the side. Everybody laughing and joking. When I walk into the break room, they say, yeah, that son bitch you made us work that extra 6 hours. I'm smiling because I know you got money in your pocket, and you happy. We got to go beyond sometimes what we do that has an automatic effect. The effect can go down the line for days or weeks. You don't know. You know what I mean?
You know,
So you got to have that God led in your heart.
the next question is, we talked about it before. We brought it up in the beginning. Faith. What role does faith play in your direction? A lot.
Faith to believe my direction. If I believe my direction, then I'm gonna have faith in my direction. And if I have faith in my direction, I don't have doubt. I don't need to question it. And that is the cement in that brick wall. I mean, in my path, to make sure that everything is tight. My faith. That's the cement to hold everything together. Because I've already went through the planning, the understanding, the knowledge, the meditation, the conversations with God, with myself. All right. Then I built that road, and then when I believe in that road, my faith is that cement that hold all that together. And so I don't have to think about it. I just travel it till the next thing come along.
Okay.
You just trying to get me to cover. You were supposed to cover 59
I
minutes
did.
for me
I did.
today.
But
No, you did. You covered maybe
something?
10
Once you
what?
get started, you can't stop.
Yeah, I know. Shit. Now, see, now who's preaching to the choir now? Okay?
I feel you, boss. I feel you. But something,
No. Yeah.
Because our time was on, I want to make sure we can get through this. The last question is, what advice can I give a man that's stuck in life? And only thing that come to mind is that, for me, is that I can share my experience with him and I can let him know, listen, this is just a suggestion. But I'll say this much to him, your experience will teach you. Just pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Meditate on it.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm just saying that through my own experience. Things I wanted to do and I bumped my head against it and bumped my head against it and continue to bump, I realized that I didn't have to do it this way. I didn't. But I chose to do it that way because I wanted to be in charge. Felt like I was running something.
When you're stuck in life, where are you stuck? What is the sticking points? And if you keep doing the same thing over and over, you know that there's two things happening there. One, that's what's sticking you. And two, what's the definition of insanity? To do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Looking for different results.
That's
And
insanity.
don't happen like that. I'm going to get the same
It
results.
don't happen like that.
Because that same experience, that is
doing the same thing.
That's just what it is.
Yeah. You're recreating the same experience over and over and over. And you're really not truly looking at it because you're not looking at yourself. Go back to who you are.
I'm too focused on how I feel, and I think my experience, that's what got me stuck a lot of times. Not what's right, but how I felt. And when I look back at that, I can see how many times, I feel like this and I feel like that. Okay. Negro, you can feel any way you want to feel.
That's right.
But is the shit right? Is it working for you? That's the question.
That's a misuse of faith.
Yes, that's not faith. That's not faith at all.
It's a misuse because you trying to say, I believe in what I'm doing. That's bull crap. What you're doing ain't worth believing in.
And your experience.
All right, go back and check yourself.
And your experience is yelling at you. This shit ain't working, bro. It ain't working. But hey, you need to come to that conclusion on your own.
Yeah, you do. You do. And it's hard, man. It's hard. It's hard for two men with over 140 years of life experiences. And you've got what? At least 98, 99 of it.
98.
And 98 of it. I didn't think I had that much. I thought mine was only like 25, 30, something like that. Anyway, that's a hard blow to accept.
Yes, it is. And, I say this in all fairness that, my son keeps me in check. And what I mean by that, some of the things he do, all I could do is just shake my head. I said, bro, I love you, but some of the shit you do, I ask myself, damn, you don't have to always be in control. But be honest with you, you don't have to keep telling yourself that I want to be in control because you ain't. None of us in control. We just learning to live and enjoy this thing they call life. Just that simple.
Yeah. And it's not going to be a smooth road either. But you got to be able to have a way to go back and check yourself and check things. Take a look at it. Be able to make adjustments to it. And remember this. It's difficult to walk on one leg when the other leg is stuck in your ass.
Yes.
What's the first thing you do? Pull it out of your ass. Okay? And think about what's going on here. It's like the old saying, what do you do with a swamp full of alligators? How you drain the swamp. Okay? So we got to stop being our own worst enemy
buddy.
and accept our own mistakes. And we can make adjustments and start again. And failure is something that happens. It is not an option. It is a happening. It can happen. It will happen. But it may not be in everything you want to address, but it will happen some way, somehow. It could be in a relationship, in a job, going to the store, you can't find what you want, you get mad. And when you find the jar you want, you drop it.
Because it costs more than you anticipated.
It's gone. Right. Now you broke the last jar You forgot to bring your wallet, blah, 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 blah. Okay? You got to deal with those things in life.
Yeah, just the other day I was taking my son to school, and I put him in the car, put the iPad on top of the car, his book bag on top of the car, and then I went to strap him in. Don't ask me how I forgot it, but I grabbed the backpack, put it in the car, and I jumped in the car and took him to school, and didn't realize that I left the iPad on top of the car until I got to the school.
Was it still there?
Listen, I left that school, came home, I ain't seen that thing since.
It's in the street somewhere.
So I got it, but
yeah.
that's because I was rushing.
Yeah, you rushed.
And I accept that, so I owe him another one.
Yeah, and those things you can't lay on it because it'll prick you forever. And it's tough. You got to make those adjustments. And age has nothing to do with it. It really don't. Because there's stuff you did when you was a teenager, same dumb stuff you did when you was 20. You can always look back and find something that you did and you just want to kick yourself.
Yep.
So, all right, Mended Men.
Well, we got through it.
We got through it today. It's a lot. We got it done. Sometimes I don't want to get the feeling that everything is negative or hard. It's a burden. But sometimes life is a burden, and you got to find a way to loosen it up, to lighten up. Sometimes you just got to lighten up and let it go. Or else you're going to be a nutcase by the time you get to Anthony's age.
Right.
All right? So you just got to ease up. And you got to make mistakes, man. But life is better than that. Life is much more beautiful than that. I had a partner, his relationship was going great. His old lady come up and start asking him stupid questions about stuff that happened before they met. He says, hey, why you bringing that crap up and we doing just fine? Why you bringing it up? Don't bring that junk up. All right, let us enjoy where we're at right now, because there's very few relationships that work. If you got one that works, don't sabotage it. Leave it alone. Let it just be beautiful for you. Because the worst thing you can do, and I've seen it happen, when one of you pass on to the next life, that's when you really miss that person. And then you spend all that time bugging him or her about bull crap that didn't mean nothing.
Not a thing.
Not a thing. Enjoy life.
Hey, before you go, I got one more thing for you. If today's conversation spoke to you, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're ready to take that next step in your personal healing and growth, connect with us. We're here to help. You can find us at www.garnettcounseling.com. Your story matters. Your healing matters. And we'll be honored to be part of your journey. Let's keep the conversation going.
And I'm going to enjoy our next round table with Anthony. And my name is Titus Garnett.
I'm Anthony Washington. Mended Men. Come join our conversation.
One more time. Let's go week to week with you. And then we're working on getting everything to go. Okay, you guys take care. We'll see you next time. Be safe, be happy, God bless, and stay strong.
All day long.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Mended Men Conversations. If something we shared resonates with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with someone who needs it. Remember, healing is a journey and you don't have to walk it alone. Stay connected with us. Subscribe to the podcast and join the conversation online. Until next time, keep growing, keep healing, and keep building your legacy.